Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Noppol Setobol. I'm the sales engineer here at SupportLogic. Today we're going to be talking about the basics of predictive, agentic, and generative AI for enterprise support. So for this, we're going to dive a little bit onto what SupportLogic is, like the data pipeline, and all of the features and functionalities that we have for you today and what we think is necessary for AI in enterprise support. This is myself, Senior Solutions Architect, also Sales Engineer here at SupportLogic, so I have a lot of experience of onboarding our customers and ensuring that they're seeing value as soon as they adopt SupportLogic into their system. So we'll start from the very beginning, right? A lot of the overall pictures of what support organizations are doing today is getting that paradigm shift, shifting from being a reactive support organization into a proactive support. And why do they want to do that? It's because 67% of customer loyalty is driven by customer experience. A lot of the products that are available today drive questions coming from users. And if users aren't asking those questions, they're probably not using the product, right? So we do want to hear those questions come in. And as long as you respond to those, you drive up loyalty, which will then drive up the customer experience. Same thing, after all of those interactions, 50% of those will switch over after just one unsatisfactory experience. So you don't want to let these things slide into the gaps of your support organizations. You want to be proactive. You want to jump in front of any opportunity to turn any unsatisfactory experience into a very positive one. And 2.4x the likelihood a customer stays when the problems are solved quickly, right? Being able to find a resolution, not just quickly, but confidently for your customers, right? You want to be able to show them that you know what you're talking about, how you found that problem, and how you got to that solution in a very confident way, right? And we could build that, and that will continue to drive that relationship with the customer to trust you in providing them support in the future. And so what are the customers wanting to do with a proactive support? They obviously want to grow and protect the revenue. This is one of the things that you need to do in order to get more customers, expand your product. But you only can do this by creating that proactive support, understanding and looking at every single customer interaction that comes into your support organization. And this is very hard to keep eyes on every single interaction because it's not just about detecting the sentiment, but it's really understanding the subtle interactions that your customers do when they're talking about the issues, right? They might not be very upfront when expressing the issues, or they might not be very upfront in expressing their experience. Some customers may be very direct, talk about the issue, and we can derive from their expression what type of urgency, priority, experience they are getting from that type of interaction. And so this is very difficult to do with AI. We as humans can interpret this through human emotions, but we want to make sure that if we involve some sort of AI, we want to be able to do that as well. But don't take it from me. This is a list of all of our customers who are using SupportLogic today that have transformed their support into that proactive support system, right? They are using AI to extract those sentiments, to understand those subtle impressions that their customers are saying when they're just talking about their issues, right? These customers now know that they need to jump on these cases because of the hidden messages that are being tracked by SupportLogic through the sentiment analysis. Okay. The one thing I want to show you here is essentially the technology of SupportLogic, and this is essentially the foundation of how we are extracting and understanding the messaging coming from your customers. Just like other companies who are extracting sentiments, we can determine whether they're positive, negative, or neutral, but we go farther than that. We explain to you not just what's positive and what's negative, what type of negative sentiment your customers are facing. Are they facing a critical issue? Did they get a response that was not helpful? Are they using profanity? These are different things that we can use to detect that weigh differently and are calculated into various AI and ML models. But this is not the only thing that we're looking at. We're also looking at other things like SLA metrics. We are looking at what I like to call case environment metrics. How much time has passed between each of the messages? When was the last outbound message sent? Who are the parties involved and how many responders are we talking to? All of these things are combined with the sentiment detections that we're showing you here, which will then produce what we call the case and customer scores. And these case and customer scores are available on every single case that enters our analytics engine. So just imagine having eyes on every single case and every single interaction. And as interactions come in, as we detect sentiment, as we calculate whether or not they've missed their SLAs or some sort of operating metrics, those things will influence these scores that you see here, the attention score and the sentiment score. And these are exactly what those things are. The attention score telling you, you need to pay attention to this case because of these sentiments that were detected, or because of these metrics that were not met, whether it's through SLA or SLO. All this is considered and calculated in real time to let you know how much attention you should be applying to a particular case. And we do the same for the sentiment score that talks directly about the customer experience. Are they receiving great or adequate support at this current time? And we can prove that by the sentiments that were being used to detect the interactions coming from the customer, right? If the sentiment score is going up, getting that 100, and we can prove that by the signals that we're detecting, whether they were helpful, whether they were very polite. We have very positive, a variety of positive signals that would help you understand the context of what the customer is experiencing. And we also have the negative ones. So if it's going towards that red in this particular case, it's at a 31, it's red, it's telling you the customer experience is bad, and we can tell you why. It's because of the frustration signal, or it's because of the actual negative signals, or maybe there's a lot of impatient messaging coming from the customer. Whatever it is, we can extract it, we calculate it in real time, and present it to you on a case-by-case basis. At the same time, we also have the account health score. Since we're producing scores on every single case that comes in, we can roll these cases up at the account level to give you that true customer experience. How is my customer feeling or currently experiencing out of all the cases that they've opened inside our support organization? Since we have a score, an experience, a sentiment score for each and every one of those, we can now derive an account health score. Your customer is currently experiencing an 80% because of all the cases that they've gotten assistance with, and they've gotten really good experience with those cases as well. So we can roll all that up into that account health score to give you exactly how your customer is feeling out of all of the cases that they've opened. And it's not just limited to the sentiment score of the cases. We also consider the type of cases that they're in. If they're escalated cases, if they're cases that are tied to an engineering case, maybe tied to a bug, maybe tied to other things, we can factor that into the account health score to show you the true content of what your customer at the account level is currently experiencing. Okay? And these are just other things that feed into other AI and ML signals that we provide to you, right? At the case level and the account level, we have the attention and sentiment and support health. We also have the ability to detect keywords using a customized ontology. So if you have product lines or unique keywords that are unique to your domain, to your business, to your product line, we can customize an ontology to look for those keywords and define it how you define things as well. We could also include skills or competitors or anything like that to uncover when your customers are speaking about those particular keywords. Are they talking about competitors? When they're talking about issues? When they're talking about the customer experience? We can uncover those using these product signals and keywords. Then these things feed into predictions. These are other signals that we provide to you. Is this case likely to escalate if you don't do anything in the next 72 hours? Maybe a case got swept under the rug or kind of got lost in all of the backlog of cases. SupportLogic will detect that, will alert you, and will tell you, hey, this case is probably going to escalate if you don't do anything in the next 72 hours for these reasons, and we'll give you the exact reasons and why. Same thing for agent recommendations. We consider all of the things that I've just mentioned, the sentiment signals, the account health score, the product signals, the keywords, your agent skills, all that is considered when we're recommending the best available agent. at this time. And I'm saying at this time is because you can call this agent recommendation AI and ML model at any given time. Whether a new case has come in, it's hitting this unassigned queue, and you want the best available agent for that case that came in, you can signify the agent recommendation agent and it'll populate this list for you. Or maybe you're in the middle of a case and your shift is about to end and you want to hand this case off to the next agent because you're following the follow the sun model. Now you can use SupportLogic to summarize that case, easily choose the next available agent, and hand off seamlessly to your agent without losing any context with SupportLogic. And I'll show you that in the demo that we have out there. And at the very end, everything that I've been talking to you about has really been focused on the customer, right? What's the customer experience? What's the customer's urgency? What's the customer really been saying and trying to understand the context behind it? We also look at things from the agent side. And so we have a QA module that will allow you to understand if your agents are interacting with your customers appropriately. Are they following a specific set of requirements that we expect each of your agents to do with your customer? We can detect whether your agents are following that QA checklist or what we call a scorecard. And from there, we can then detect other types of signals that are used for coaching your agents. We can tell them to show empathy. We can tell them to detect any type of specific requirement that we would want them to do, and then provide a one-stop shop to help coach your agents from there. All right. As I talked about a lot of things, this is just an overview of everything that we have today coming from SupportLogic. We start with everything on the left-hand side. That's the core SX functionality. That's the technology, basically, of what I just showed you, being able to extract sentiments from every single interaction that you have inside your support organization. And everything else on the right-hand side are just modules that you can build on top of the core SX functionality. The one thing I do want to call out, and this is with all of our customers who you saw on the previous slide, they all started off with the core SX module, and they all immediately saw value by becoming that proactive support. Everything else is just building on top of the extra metrics that you're going to get from just having core SX. With the basic stuff, you're already going to get that proactive support, a decrease in escalations with our escalation management, a faster mean time to resolution, SLO benefits. But if you include any of these other modules, that's really just going to drive those metrics up because you're exposing other parts of the product that really will elevate how your support organization is running. Specifically, expand, we can show you other summaries around the account that will help identify account opportunities like churn risk, renewal opportunities, expansion opportunities. We have things like Assist that will enable other functionalities of your team, like your agents who are working within their CRM, can take advantage of the things that SupportLogic is providing without having them leave their existing UI, right? They can work inside Salesforce and still be able to take advantage of all the sentiment scores, the sentiment, the case summarization, all these things. Or if they're working inside Zendesk, they'll still be able to take advantage of all these things as well. And then you have the QA, which was then the other side of being able to ensure that your agents are interacting correctly with your customers. Are they following up in the correct amount of time? Are they answering questions? Are they providing enough support to the customer in the correct way? And then the assign is that agent recommendation, right? Being able to get that case to the right agents, which will then lower mean time to resolution, lower case handovers, and things like that. And then the things on the right side is the Resolve SX. This is us being able to deflect cases for cases that are coming in by providing a precision RAG answer engine, which is essentially an index of all of your knowledge data sources. And this is your data sources that your customers will typically get to if they want to find out information about their product. Or maybe your agents would use this knowledge data sources to help troubleshoot the issues that your customers are sending in. We can connect to all of those, index that, and make that available for your agents, or make that available externally for your customers as well to deflect cases, and that's using Resolve SX. Okay. So basically, under the hood of SupportLogic, this is a very high level of everything that we have. At the very bottom is the data extraction layer. This is us being able to ingest all of the types of interactions that you do. So case emails, portal comments, voice transcription, chat transcriptions, data lakes, knowledge articles, all of those things can be brought in using our data extraction engine. That signal extraction engine is that technology slide that I showed you there, where we're extracting them and labeling those sentiments based off of the different pieces of data that comes in. And the bread and butter of this is our context engine. So being able to bring all of that context together so that it's useful for you. If you go into a case today, you want to know all the interactions that has happened so that you can fully understand what's happening at that level. But if you hand it over to someone else, you don't want to lose that context, right? You don't want to lose all of those things that have happened, and SupportLogic will keep that together with our case summarization. And then we have all these other AI agents that are running on top of it all the time, 100% of the time. So this is what makes SupportLogic's 100% observability function, really. If you want to do certain things within SupportLogic, we have agents that are readily available to do it for you. We have a case assignment one. We have a sentiment agents to let you know when certain sentiments have been detected. If you want that account health, because you need to know the account health of a particular customer, you go ahead and call on that agent. We have a summarization agent, again, if you wanted to hand over cases between you and the following agent. You don't want to lose context between it. You can use our summarization agent to help summarize that for you so you don't lose messaging when you're conversing with your agents there. Okay. And at the very top are just the different ways that you can utilize SupportLogic. The main one, and what we're going to show you inside this demo in a bit, is the SupportLogic SaaS, right? It's a UI that you'll get access to, that we bring up for every single customer, and has the ability to look at everything that SupportLogic has to offer. Then we have the CRM widgets, which is that other side if you wanted to make SupportLogic available within your CRM. I'll be able to show that to you today as well. And then we have these other essentially integration points for SupportLogic to bring this into your BI tool, to bring this into your third-party application, to bring this into pretty much anything else that you want to take advantage of SupportLogic metrics. And typically this is for, again, BI tools that need to know the experience of your customer inside your support organization. Okay. So what does that lead to? It leads to a lot of functionalities for the different roles inside your organization that can utilize and take advantage of SupportLogic. Very much the support engineers and the support managers, those are the ones that are going to see the most value from SupportLogic because they're going to be the ones that are becoming more proactive, taking advantage of all the agents. This is essentially having your agents and support managers having eyes on every single case that's in your support organization. Like going back to the small days where you had a manageable amount of cases to be able to understand what's going on. So we're releasing this at scale, making it very much valuable for the engineers and managers. But as we were extracting these things, as we're combining it with other AI and ML models that we've developed over the years, we found other roles and teams and other types of use cases that find SupportLogic very valuable as well, right? Account owners can now look at their accounts to understand how what their customers are currently doing inside their support organization. And same thing for their end customers, right? They can use ResolveSX to help find their own solutions, or maybe help even avoid creating a case in the beginning using case deflection. I know I got a few more minutes left, but I just wanted to quickly show this before I go into my demo here. These are just a couple of our customers who have been using SupportLogic and saw a achievable metric goal for all of them. And these things are all done fairly quickly after they've been onboarded with SupportLogic. And that's just because you're changing your support organization from becoming reactive to proactive. You're getting observability in all of those cases, 100% of all of those cases. And you're really uncovering cases that might have just been forgotten. Maybe your customers have forgotten about them. Maybe your agents may have forgotten about them. Whatever the case is, we're just bringing those things to light so that you can adjust them correctly. All right. And so I will quickly just show you a little bit about the demo. It's going to be a little funky here. All right. So this is essentially SupportLogic demo that you get. And right in the middle is, right at the very top is the sentiment score and the attention score. So these are two living, breathing scores that change as the case gets updated. And the case can get updated in a variety of ways. It could be a new message coming from your customer, or a new message coming out from your agents, or maybe there's just too much time has passed and it's going to trigger the sentiment score to be recalculated. And you can see here, since the case has been opened, it's dropped down to this, I think it's like a 37 right now. And you can see the evidence behind it, right? If I click on this, it's going to take me directly to where the sentiment was detected. And then I can understand exactly that I need to work on this case because customer's experience is really low and the attention score is really high, right? Also, this case is tagged as likely to escalate. What does that mean? When I start an escalation review, SupportLogic is going to provide me with all the key insights on why this case is going to escalate, right? So now I don't actually have to understand and search through it myself. SupportLogic is going to tell me this case is going to escalate because it fits either a pattern of cases that has escalated with similar metadata, and also the amount of sentiments that were detected. But whatever it is, we're going to tell you all the reasons why and recommend the appropriate actions for you to take, whether it's sharing this case via Slack or MS Teams. We can share this with anyone within your support organization. Maybe I need to reassign this case so I can call that agent recommendation agent to help me find the best available agent. Or maybe I just want to respond directly to the customer on behalf of the case owner so that I can alleviate some of the issues and potentially not have to escalate this case, right? Because that's exactly what we want to do, is either decide to escalate or not escalate this case. But the true value behind that is whatever road you pick, it's going to look good on yourself because you're proactively doing this for the customer, right? I've avoided an escalation because I can respond to the customer and take care of the issue, or I've proactively escalated for the customer and they're going to see it as a proactive move, right? I'm going to escalate this case for you because you've been waiting for 4 days, or these are the insights that I think are the reasons to escalate, and I can go ahead and escalate it for you. Go ahead. So then being able to proactively support your customers. And in addition to all of these, we also provide you with that account health score. So that's what this score here is on the left-hand side. Again, taking a look at all of the historical cases that this account has opened, will give you a summary of everything that has tied to that account. That could be engineering cases, that could be escalated cases, that could be a bunch of cases with certain sentiments detected. And we're going to give you that overall view of the account health score to let your support manager know or your agent know that they need to treat this customer or respond to this customer with a little extra grace. Okay. So in addition to this, we're also giving you a bunch of abilities to do things from SupportLogic, but of course you can definitely do it from within your CRM as well. So I have this same case opened up inside a Salesforce CRM. As part of the Salesforce CRM, we also have a native widget inside the App Exchange. So if you're using Salesforce, you can go ahead and download this widget as well. You just need to reach out to us so that we can help you connect it to your SupportLogic instance. But essentially, right off the bat, you have the ability to, and you have this functionality inside the core SX functionality, but case summarization, we can take all of the interactions that have happened inside the case and summarize it for you. So you don't actually have to go through each and every email, every portal, every case chat transcripts. We'll actually look through all that and we'll summarize it for you here. We're going to show you what the problem is, what the current status is, and what the next steps would be. The next steps are based off of the more recent interactions. So if the last interaction was telling your customer to go get the logs, maybe our next steps would be, hey, we should preemptively schedule a call with the customer to review the logs when they become available. In addition to this, we also connect to a precision RAG answer engine, which is a data source connected to all of your knowledgeable data sources. These are as I mentioned, your knowledge data sources are the things that your agents are using when they're troubleshooting the issues that your customers are facing. This could be like your internal Salesforce articles, maybe Confluence pages, maybe external facing product documentations that will be helpful to investigate the issue. This could also be maybe your engineering system, because a bug was recently fixed yesterday and there's a possible solution for one of the issues your customer might be facing. And since we're already looking at your historical cases, why don't we include your historical cases as knowledge data sources? Because maybe there was an issue in a case that was resolved yesterday that could be used as a possible solution in a future issue that's coming up. And we understand that sometimes customers talk about issues within Slack and MS Teams, right? That could be a very good knowledge data source for resolutions or solutions to issues. And we can incorporate that as a knowledge data source. And when you incorporate all of those into your precision RAG answer engine, you pretty much have an index of all of your knowledge data sources at the fingertips of your agents. But we take it one step further. We take the case summarization, we convert it into a query, and then we actually query it for you automatically so that you get this result in natural language. And this is querying all those knowledge data sources. So your agents doesn't have to go to each and every one of those knowledge data sources. We're going to query it, we're going to ask it, and we're going to provide you with the results. Whether it's going to be a list of articles, list of cases, list of JIRA bugs, or, historical cases, we'll take all of that information and we'll create a natural language response. So we'll generate a natural language response that could look like this, or it could even be a step-by-step instruction that your agent can then use to provide to the customer. In addition to this, we also have the ability to generate draft response. So again, this is really the main value behind this is not losing meaning behind the context of the messaging. We understand that sometimes when you get the case summarization and you need to find a solution, you translate, and sometimes the meaning gets lost in the translation. Since we're doing all of the converting, we're ensuring that nothing really gets lost in translation. So when you're going from the case summarization to the knowledge summary to a response assist, we're generating all that information for you while keeping the context through and consistent. Okay? And from there, you can just go ahead and click that and respond to the customer for your agents. All right? Thank you.